All right, he's loading his bags. All right, let's click the go live button. Let's get the show on the road. So let's see, you are live. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Box Mining here. Today is the 26th, and it is a Friday today. And I don't know, it's like a Friday thing, but we have another dump on Friday. So if you look at the markets right here, another Friday, another dump. So we got Ethereum going below 1500 again. We got Bitcoin going below 50,000 in the last 24 hours. It was a 6% dump on Bitcoin. There was an 8%, almost a 9% dump on Ethereum and a 10% dump on Binance Smart Chain or Binance Coin. And well, that's kind of the general big meta game that's happening. There were a few things going on. We'll talk about them. There was one which is mostly a rumor that the SEC is chasing after Elon Musk, and it really came from one tweet. So anyways, we'll look at the rumor. It's blowing up on every headline, but I chased down to see if there's any announcement from the SEC that they're looking after Elon Musk for tweeting about Dogecoin, because apparently that's a security now. No idea why. But anyways, well, I'll definitely take a look at you guys about the actual news coming out. That could be one of the reasons here. I would actually say the bigger reason of why this is happening and why markets are readjusting is also because of the Coinbase listing. So Coinbase itself, you guys know, is probably one of the biggest exchanges in the US. It's not, probably it is. And they're listing, and if they filed their listing already, so they actually had to disclose some of their earnings as well. And it's well into the billions in terms of their revenue. And yeah, it's good and bad. I mean, very likely two things are happening. One is that people are definitely seeing the power of crypto trading. Obviously, they're going to be a little bit jealous that Coinbase is getting such a high valuation as one of the biggest unicorns of the decade. But more than that as well, there's probably going to be a lot of expectation as well in coming to the space. We know that this public filing of Coinbase, and it's going to have the ticker coin. It's going to be publicly traded on stock exchanges, and people are going to buy it as a Class A share. So that is going to give a lot of expectations, and whether those expectations are being met is also another issue, right? So we'll take a look at these two dynamics are coming into play that are the biggest kind of news of this week, and we'll take a look at the minor news as well that's coming along the way as well. There's a lot of developments in the cryptocurrency space. I'll talk a little bit about all these new projects coming out. Obviously, this whole idea of chasing these altcoins is pretty crazy right now. So we'll discuss everything here. Everything obviously is my personal opinion, and that's what I've been trying to push a lot in this channel. This channel is a lot less like the other YouTube channels out there. Like for me, this year I've been focused on being a good investor, like investor first and YouTuber second. It's worked out really well for me, and obviously it's the most profitable line of stuff, because obviously in this space, things can go a little bit crazy. So, I'm really glad I can stay with you guys. And the reason why I feel like this channel and it's worth doing, and it's worth informing you guys, is to give you guys this like insight of what's happening in the cryptocurrency space, right? Because not everything you read is actually insightful. And I get to save myself from being angry at mainstream media and all these like clickbait titles. A lot of the reason why these YouTube videos are here is so we can kind of evaluate them for what they are worth, and that's kind of the reason why this channel is around. But anyways, I love your feedback, guys, as well. If you guys want to give any feedback to this channel and to how the news is being presented, I would really love to hear that too. So leave comments down below and in the chat. It's always live, and I do read it, even though it goes a little bit crazy sometimes. But anyways, guys, if you do like this channel and that you find this channel helpful, make sure you do smash up that like button. Really appreciate it. It's a YouTube thing. It works with the algorithm, makes the YouTube videos more popular. It's helpful. And also, of course, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, because we do a lot of spontaneous live streams as well, and those people have been saying have been very helpful. So make sure you're on board on that too. And without further ado, guys, let's get started here. All right, let's take a look at the markets. So definitely the markets today weren't too amazing, especially how I'm in Asia right now. So I'm in the Asian time zone. So when I woke up, everything was down, right? When I fell asleep, everything was up, right? Had a nice sleep yesterday, woke up this morning, everything's down. And it does happen. It's something that I can say with a smiling face now. It's a very, very crypto thing for kind of these things to happen. And obviously, the first thing I go to and want to check up is why this is happening, right? You wake up, you see crypto is down like 10%. Why, right? You try to look for the news. And this is when, it's good and bad, right? So the first thing obviously I saw is that Tesla CEO is reportedly under investigation by the SEC over Dogecoin tweets. So this has been spreading like wildfire on the news, and it could be possible that this sort of news is affecting cryptocurrency prices, especially, if he's been like very positive about crypto. Elon's been tweeting both about Dogecoin. His company Tesla has also bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, right? So, if he's under investigation, this will lead to, possibly less tweets about Bitcoin in the future, less tweets about Doge. I mean, Doge also fell by 11%, but, so that could be one of the reasons why. But I just want to say that before we jump too much into it, I do want to say that the article and the information about this is pretty scant. It's really by one kind of tweet. So I try to chase up on like it's by First Squawk, right? So this news group called First Squawk. The tweet said the SEC is set to investigate Tesla chief executive Meth Elon Musk for his tweets on Dogecoin. Sources familiar with this matter. I mean, who are these sources? And this is really what took it viral. Like, yet again, I mean, I'm sure the SEC is onto Musk, right? Onto Elon. I mean, Elon's been tweeting a lot, and he's been pretty much on the bad books of the SEC, and he's demonstrated a lot of the weaknesses with the SEC as well, because like he should be having the right to of freedom, right? Freedom of speech, right? It's pretty basic, no? So, I mean, this is definitely on everyone's mind, whether or not something like this has happened. I just want to say, first of all, that all of the news around this is based on one tweet by this First Squawk, and even they said it's a rumor. So it's very much rumored right now. I mean, obviously they have followers, and then, that led to a lot of people tweeting about it, but just be careful for headline reading. If a lot of people probably assume that the SEC has already pressed charges, this is not true, or the SEC has made an announcement, and this is also not true. So, yet again, that's the grain of salt I'm taking with this news, because obviously everyone's going to jump and conclude and lead to conclusions, whilst I would say this is very much something that we've expected, and yeah, it's mostly a rumor at this current point of time. Okay, the other thing I want to say is obviously the big one is the Coinbase listing. All right, so recently the big announcement that could really affect prices drastically is the listing of Coinbase, right? So Coinbase is, I mean, we knew about this for a long period of time, but what we didn't know was the exact statistics of how much money Coinbase was making. So why is this big news? Well, because they generated a lot of revenue. So here's this. Here's for one quarter. So they generated $1.2 billion of revenue. They have a $322 million income. They have 2.8 million active users with $90 billion assets under management and 7,000 institutional customers. And Brian Armstrong made $60 million last year. So why do we get this information? Is because Coinbase has been approved. They're going through the listing process for becoming a publicly traded company. And this is something that a public listed company can declare. Now, it could be the case that the market is responding to this in the sense that they might feel like, oh, maybe it's not enough, right? These are big numbers, but maybe it's not enough. That's kind of what the market was saying. Yeah, it's not enough, Coinbase. Please make 10 million, okay? I'll set the reminder. Make 10 million, then contact me. Otherwise, we're gonna dump. But regardless of that, I think these numbers are still super strong. All right, and this is just one. I think something that's quite important, and this got shared a lot around the inner circles quite a bit, because a lot of trading companies are private. So take for example Binance. They're not going IPO, not that I know of anyways, and they don't need to disclose their figures, which means that they can, a lot of this stuff is still under um, it's private, it's industry secrets, right? So it's kind of interesting how people are discussing this, and Coinbase, obviously they're reporting these phenomenal numbers, right? Like it's not just, it's $1.2 billion of revenue. That's a huge revenue, right? That they're reporting, and that's pretty amazing. I think a lot of people in Wall Street, they should take notice. I think a lot of insiders probably traded on this information, and then we see the dump once the news is announced. This is pretty typical of crypto, where you kind of sell the rumor. You buy the rumor and you sell the news, right? So that's typically what can happen in crypto as well, where people get really hyped up. We saw the rallies of this happening beforehand. We got Bitcoin taking all the way up to almost $55,000, and then we got slammed back down again. That being said, crypto ain't dead. So let's take a quick look at the charts. Just look at the majors for a second here. So Bitcoin is officially out of its ascending channel. So initially, before, it was kind of in this ascending channel right here, which was where we kind of clearly saw it was just rallying, right? Very likely people knew about this Coinbase listing. They knew that this is going to happen. So there was a lot of hype and fever to it. Now, it did break below this channel, so I'm kind of changing this right now. So I'm seeing the support here. We'll see how long the support holds, but I definitely see the support holding, and we kind of tested it twice over a short period of time rather. So we kind of saw initially Bitcoin prices dropped to $44,000. It rose up again to 52, and then it dropped yet again to 46. So definitely the bears are coming in at this point, but we also still have some solid support here. This is when, of course, we're still in a period when Bitcoin is highly volatile. I think a lot of people, if you've been in the space for a long time, you'll definitely realize that Bitcoin is very volatile, right? If you watch my videos from last year around this time, Bitcoin was around $8,000, right? Which is 5 times less than what it is right now. So obviously it's been moving up a lot, and there's going to be a lot of volatility coming through. Last episode, we kind of discussed one of the crashes and one of the possible reasons why behind these crashes. And it could be market manipulation too. I haven't ruled that out, and I definitely feel like, especially with the last wave, especially with the announcement, especially with people kind of all talking about how F2 pool, a big mining pool, was sending large amounts of Bitcoin out of the pool to leverage trading exchanges. This was tracked openly on the blockchain, that this could be market manipulation. And I definitely agree with it. But I definitely did not agree that this was the only thing that was happening, right? Because we can see what's happening on the blockchain, but we cannot see what's happening offline. And there's a lot of action that happens offline. And a lot of times what people do, right? People who have been in this space in a long time, is that they just simply send large cryptocurrency transactions to try to spook the market. This also happens too. It's like a mind game, right? This is where crypto becomes a very big mind game, where you can, yes, obviously you can see these large transactions, you can track them, but then whales will then intentionally send large transactions to try to crash the market. And yet again, it's a situation where you have to be very, very selective about information you're including into your logic. And this is something that I have been extremely selective about, and why, it's very dangerous to just read headlines in crypto, because that often leads to a situation where you're including false information into your logic, which screws up the rest of the remaining logic. Like for me, it's always about keeping the thoughts clean, at least working it, like, I guess that's a science part of me, like just trying to make sure that I get the correct information so I don't make decisions based on false information, if that makes sense to you guys. But anyways, that's the kind of outlook on Bitcoin. We're trying to figure out how strong that support is going to be. And obviously, if we do fall, we could see, all right, 3.39K, that's possibility. All right, that's where the previous kind of resistance was. So typically speaking, we do know that in markets like this, the previous kind of previous resistance becomes a support, right? So that's very, very possible in this market. We definitely saw that in January, Bitcoin tried to push above $41,000, couldn't push above there, but we did manage to break it on around the 8th of Feb. So yet again, this could be a possible support the next support line if Bitcoin tries to get, well, if the bears try to dump Bitcoin a little bit further. But that being said, of course, we'll have to see how strong the support currently is holding right now at around 46,000. And recently, just in the past few hours, we definitely saw movements kind of up. So we'll have to see. Like, well, we kind of saw a little bit of a recovery at this point. Now let's look at a little bit at Ethereum and what's happening. So let's see. So pretty much Ethereum front, we had the scare before. We saw where the supports were before as well. So here was a good point where, you know, I was kind of saying that a few of my friends, they actually managed to put some buy orders in and got them filled. So these are the kind of spike crashes that we saw in Ethereum, and this happens a lot more on Ethereum than on Bitcoin. So you can actually see like there's two kind of spikes downwards, and this is mainly due to the fact that Ethereum has more leverage trading going on. There's more leverage on here. The markets are a little bit more volatile, especially if Ethereum, if you think about it, Bitcoin moved up 5 times. Ethereum, on the other hand, moved up 15 times, right? So you definitely expect a lot more volatility there, and the market cap is smaller, meaning that there's a lot more brittle markets. That being said, of course, I really one thing that I did mention is that on these spikes down, if people are on leverage positions, they can get heavily screwed over once the market moves back up. So let's say, for example, if a person takes on a position at say 1700 and it drops to 1300, right? Their 4x or 5x leverage position could get liquidated. So they're forced to sell at this point, which is pretty much the lowest point of these candles. So this is something you have to be very watchful for. And we did take a look at Kraken exchange, which did actually have prices dropping to around 700. So this is a situation where leverage is becoming very dangerous at this point. You guys just need to understand the risks. I mean, obviously, if you 5x leverage, you 5x the gains, but you can also 5x the losses too. And that's something very important to remember at times like this when we have a lot of volatility, especially a lot of these spike volatility that happens within 1 or 2 hours. And something that happens always all the time in crypto is that the exchange will never call you when you're being liquidated. There's no such thing as a margin call or a physical call, right? We're beyond that. Exchanges in crypto just liquidate you and boom, that position is gone. So just be very careful at this current point. So Bradley Hefferly says, don't get liquidated. It happens. And something that we always say in crypto, right, is, you know, if you just enter crypto, you know, just go watch some YouTube videos. They'll teach you how to 100x leverage. You'll get wrecked and then come back again and learn crypto the proper way, right? Not to throw shade on YouTubers. I mean, I got quite offended by that too when people said, oh, just watch YouTube videos. All YouTube is good for is teaching people how to leverage trade. Not true. I've been trying to kind of warn people that for the longest amount of time. But that being said, of course, sometimes in crypto, it's necessary to learn the hard way. And you know, that does involve losing a lot of money at the start, but that happens, right? Like I've lost a lot of money at the start and, you know, that's not, you know, I think I've learned a lot from it and that's okay. And I shared it. So I think that's the way to do it, right? This is the way. All right. Other than that, obviously, all the altcoins are also bleeding out as well. There's a pretty big bleed out at the market at this current point. You can see definitely some double-digit bleed outs. And you can probably see around like 80% of the coins are in the red, at least in the last 24 hours. So yes, we definitely see some pullbacks on the market, but honestly, that is a good thing for crypto because for the past few weeks, altcoins were going crazy, right? Just take, for example, Mask. So I was showing you guys the Mask initial Twitter offering, and it was something that like it wasn't sponsored. It was purely something that I knew that people were doing in China. Like I saw these Chinese tutorials on how to make a Twitter account just to get into Mask, and people were making bots for this, right? They were malicious actors also trying to like kind of fool the system so that they can get more allocation on Mask. But yeah, Mask just went up like crazy. Unfortunately, I didn't get anything at all, and I'm pretty salty about it. But I think from my understanding, the coin was sold for less than $1. And now it's at $13 right now, which is kind of crazy. It dropped by 50%, which is one of the reasons why I don't speculate initially when a coin lists. So when a coin first lists, you don't speculate. But when it's during the kind of pre-sale period, that's when you can, buy it for $1 and then it goes to 13 right now, which is still 13x gains, right? Which is kind of crazy and kind of salty. I didn't get it, unfortunately. I kind of wanted to do it last episode, but I got a failed transaction, and I've actually asked a lot of people around in the Box Nation Telegram group. They've also got a failed transaction, which kind of begs to wonder, did bots take the entire allocation? Because if that is the case, I will be super salty and angry. But anyways, it's almost like the PlayStation 5 situation, if you guys know about that, or like with the mining cards, the 3080s that were coming out. Like, you try to get it, you try to get your allocation, but bots just take it like 4 seconds before you. God damn it. God damn those bots. But anyways, that's kind of the ICO mania. That's kind of like a example of the ICO mania that's happening recently. And, we'll talk a little bit about the Launchpads, Polkastarter, and TrustSwap in a sec, because the projects are also booming quite a lot, to say the least. And this is one of the most fertile markets in the world. I think it's one of the places with the most amount of innovation, but it's also one of the markets with the most amount of fluff as well. So anyways, we'll talk about that in a sec. Let's finish up on everything here. So anyways, that's kind of the take right now. Altcoins are also kind of mostly kind of down a little bit, but leading that is ZKSwap. But the numbers are very aggressive for ZKSwap because they did an airdrop, so a 1-to-1 airdrop, which meant that people who held ZKSwap prior to the airdrop got double. But that being said, ZKSwap prices were around $9 prior to the airdrop. So if you have that, because you double the supply doubled, that would be around 4.75. So it's still below the kind of the numbers before the airdrop. So it still did dump a little bit on that front. So I think it's a situation where, a lot of people were like on last stream were seriously asking me about ZKSwap. Yet again, it's hype, right? It's something that I'm glad that there is hype, but at the same time, hype can be very, very dangerous. So my full disclosure on this is that I got into ZKSwap relatively early. This is when I told you about it. I actually did a video about ZKSwap, telling you guys all about it. My entry price was around 40 cents. So right now it's at $3.8, and there are 2 airdrops before that. So technically, my effective entry point price is around 15 cents if you factor in the 2 airdrops before VAT. Actually, probably not. I mean, it's probably 10 cents. Never mind, 10 cents. But anyways, it's pretty much that sense here. Now, obviously, people probably can be fearful in this market. I mean, obviously, when the market bleeds out like this, people can go hysterical. And it's hard. It's hard. And, like, I feel... Like right now, if you ask me what I feel, right? I feel bad for those people who are new and don't understand what's happening with these markets and don't understand how to risk manage. I feel more bad for them than for myself when I see my assets decrease in value, right? Obviously, in the morning, I look at there's apps like ZKSwap app. If you guys haven't used that tracks your wallets and it gives you a rough approximate idea of how much all your coins are worth. And yes, it did go down for me by 10% plus. And it feels like shit in the morning, right? I can swear here, right? Like, when a 10% drop like that, you can kind of swear. It does feel like shit, but I've dealt for it so many times, I don't really care that much anymore, to be honest. But I do actually care for all the people who don't know what they're doing and then they get wrecked and then to put a house on it or something like that. So I do feel kind of bad for those people. But that being said, it's crypto. I think, I've been thinking the philosophy here is you got to learn it the hard way. And I'm glad that the market did move up and down. So now people can be more rational and risk manage properly. I think that is it. I've always said this channel is not financial advice. I'm definitely not a financial advisor, but I think people who don't understand how to manage your assets really need to seek out a financial advisor to help them plan. They're not too useful, to be honest. Like, I've sought professional financial advice from certified financial advisors in the past. And I definitely did not do everything they said, right? So I'm not trying to say that they're the most useful thing in the world, but it did provide some foundation for me to rationalize how to plan my strategy and what sort of risk, and for me to understand more about the risks that I'm taking in this space. So there you go. That's funny. All right. So, yeah, definitely a lot of talk by Trump 2024 coin. All right. So, let's go very quickly for the news, and then we'll go for some of the jokes around. So let's take a very quick look at everything's happening. Okay, so India FUD always happening. So Indian banks put crypto trader accounts under the microscope. Ooh. I mean, there's always this talk about India trying to ban cryptocurrencies. This even happened in 2017. I still remember India ban being a big thing. And then I asked my friends in India, yo, is this really happening? And they're like, it's a very early draft and it's very unlikely it'll get passed. So for me, when I look at this, obviously India and other big nations, they want to track cryptocurrency accounts. I think this is something that's going to happen throughout the world. We saw that happen in China. We saw that happen in India. It's definitely going to happen at some point in the US because of the way cryptocurrencies at its root design is that it frees people from the governments. And if you're a government, if there's a currency out there that's freeing people away from your centralized currency, there's some obvious responses, right? Read between the lines. So it's pretty logical that something like this will be set up. I mean, there's definitely a lot of regulatory guidelines and issues. Something that we saw in Asia is that once these guidelines are issued, though, it actually becomes much easier for big banks to accept it. So, for example, DBS in Asia, they're coming out with crypto services. So this is actually really good because if you're a crypto trader and you don't want to get your account closed, then probably DBS would be a good option for you. Not shilling DBS too much, but I'm just saying, the first ones to actually be bold and take a stand, they're the winners here. So I guess people are a little bit salty. We got Karthik Khanna says banning Bitcoin will be a big backstep in India in the international community. I hope leaders they take positive steps to ensure to regulate cryptocurrency space in India. Don't ban, just regulate. So there's definitely a lot of calls for that. We'll have to see what the effective what is effectively happening. I do know that India it's becoming a very big hotbed for cryptocurrency projects. This is very, very expected because of the way crypto is a lot more transparent. And we saw Matic, I recently said I was very, very impressed with my talk with Sandeep. He was just very, very smart. And yeah, Matic/Polygon being there. But we also have some things like a lot of India incubated projects going on. And I think that's super, super cool. So, all right, moving on, we have similar along the same lines. Congress worries crypto used to fund domestic terrorism, capital insurrection. Let's be honest. If you're worried about capital insurrection, crypto is probably the last place you should look because there's much more obvious sources of that. That being said, of course, obviously, crypto gets blamed for everything negative. Yet again, same thing. I'm not going to repeat myself. Pretty much same thing, right? Governments probably don't really like crypto in the long run, all right? Okay, this one, very interesting, not too interesting, but I've just thought, because people love Musk, he's no longer the richest man in the world after Tesla and Bitcoin slump. Oh my God, press. Oh my God, media. Tesla goes down by like 8%, I checked today, and then everyone's all over, oh my God, he's not the richest man in the world. Dude, relax. I don't think he's worried. I don't think you should be worried. Yet again, media. And yet again, we covered this already. Elon Musk reportedly under SEC investigation over Dogecoin tweets. All these rumors are from one tweet by one Twitter publication. And yeah, nothing's confirmed at this point. So just take that with a grain of salt yet again. Yeah, let's see. Crypto art hits 1 million within 10 minutes. This is the ugliest shit I've ever seen, but hey, you know what, guys? If people love art and they want to spend $1 million on it, I'm not going to stop them. I think NFTs are a great way of evaluating the value of art and authenticating art. That's possible if it's digital. If it's real life, then it's going to be harder. But anyways, I guess it's kind of cool. I'm not sure how to feel by this though. I don't know. Give me your thoughts. On what you feel about this art. I mean, got Michael Jackson with nipples here connected to a baby, who is also its body, I guess. I mean, he's a baby on top of a. I don't know, man. I don't know. We got Mickey Mouse here. He's the Hulk. He's also had a great meal. He just ate Captain Jack Sparrow. But anyways, whatever. All right. Why are people buying crypto art? I mean, right now the discussion on NFT space is crazy, and look. NFTs is right now. I think what's happening is we definitely have the technology side of NFTs sorted out, and in fact, I'm actually very actively involved in the NFT space. You guys probably know I've been discussing it for like the last 4 years, right? You know, Enjin was one of the projects that I got into very, very early on, and they are kind of been the top of the NFT space, right? They invented ERC 1155 as a non-fungible asset medium to allow people to use NFTs in games. Now, the issue, of course, is that it didn't take off crazy amounts, right? In 2017, we thought, oh, maybe 2 or 3 years, we're going to get a lot more adoption. Whilst for me, I've kind of felt like there were a lot of good attempts, but at the same time, NFTs for video games has some issues and barriers. One of them being that the game design doesn't revolve around trading items anymore. The current meta for most big titles and games and items is that items are locked to the account. They don't want people trading them because it gives the developers maximum profit, right? So I was kind of talking about this, and there are many challenges to overcome. But at the same time, I kind of didn't realize how much people loved NFTs, right? Which is, for me, like, I think I was trying to tackle the bigger problem, how to get it into the hands of billions. But that's going to come. It's going to come much slower. And people right now, they really love cryptocurrency-related art. I don't know why half these like animated GIFs are selling for the price they are. I'm still going to kind of roll my eyes a little bit on it, but I definitely see the potential, the fundamental potential here. So I think there's two things, right? So for me, it's definitely not to overplay the value of NFTs, but at the same time, I understand why people love it at the same time. Because if you're a serious collector, having an NFT means that you don't have to get your item appraised. There's a direct market for it. There's provable fungibility. There's provable authenticity. So this really does matter. I'm also helping a project out with called Refinable, and we're kind of really looking at how to create the best marketplace out there. So there are going to be a lot more updates on this soon. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that as well. We also have GME up there. GME stocks soar 110% after Roaring Kitty reveals his $5.5 million position. I mean, GME has been going crazy, to say the very least. Definitely I'm happy that it has the success that it has, right? Let's just say that. Now, some good and bad, right? Obviously, this is a big fight, and there are so many things that went wrong with GME and so many things that went right with GME. Now, obviously, I made the video pretty much at the top and said I didn't want to get a position into GME, and that's because obviously the hype wave is over. I'm good at figuring that out, right? So I figured out, yep, the initial hype wave, that's done. The reason why GME pumped so much is because the people who were shorting it expected a company to go completely bankrupt, but the community said, no, guess what? Not going bankrupt, and also those shorts are way out of position, right? If you're thinking of this as a sports game, the people who were shorting GME, who wanted to benefit from GME falling or going to zero, so Melvin Capital and friends, they pretty much assume that GME is going to go bankrupt, so they can borrow a lot of GME shares from the broker, from everyone else, sell it, and they'll never have to return it because hopefully it's going to go bankrupt, right? But anyways, the GME case has brought a lot of kind of intel into how it works. I mean, obviously, Robinhood also suspended trades for GME. So I think in terms of the implication here, there's two kind of things to read. One is that the power of the community, it's very, very powerful. The second of all is that we do need a more decentralized trading platform, which is what crypto and decentralized finance is building. Because at the end of the day, you definitely don't want a situation where it's up to Congress to figure out if Robinhood should have stopped trades, right, to stop people from buying GME. Look, the problem here is that it should have been decentralized in the first place. If it was decentralized, no one single party would have ever had the power to stop trades. Going with free markets, you need to allow the markets to be free at all times. You cannot have like a one-sided, oh, you can't buy GME anymore. Okay, then prices will never go up, right? It's if how is that not meant to like the biggest manipulation of the decade, right? If you want to manipulate stock, just stop people from buying it. Anyways, that's me being angry. But anyways, yeah, GME is still up right now. Roy and Kitty definitely made a lot of money, $5.5 million position. That is pretty huge. Congrats to Keith. All right, then we have some other news. We got 1inch announces their expansion to Binance Smart Chain. Yes, that is happening. I saw the unicorn going through the golden gates of Binance Smart Coin, Binance Smart Chain. It's happening, guys. It's happening. I mean, BSC has really taken off in terms of community, and there's a lot of discussion on that, right? I mean, it's definitely fully reflected in the price of Binance Coin. It just took off like crazy. I cannot be more ecstatic. I'm still up like majorly on this. I mean, I told you guys that this was one of my medium bags I was holding. Yeah, I had a good position into this. My entry price was around $18. But yeah, it took off beyond my wildest dreams, honestly, at 200 something, 230 right now. So congrats to anyone who holds BNB. I feel like it was a situation where, like, talking about BSC, right? Just relaying a little bit experience. I'm not sure if you guys found this useful or not. When Binance Smart Chain first launched, it was dead, right? Obviously, it's a new project, new coin, but like every project that got there or launched on there, they didn't have any users because people didn't know how to use it, right? Even though it's like a one click to change your chain ID on MetaMask, it was still hard, right? So at this point, like I think there was a time when I thought, oh, what if Binance Smart Chain doesn't work, right? What if it fails? But that adoption took like months. It took almost half a year. Like, I guess it's probably not half a year, probably 4 months for that adoption to slowly happen. And this is something that's, if you really want to study network effects in crypto, and I think this is very important, I'm focusing a lot on learning about these network effects. It took a while to go. So this is a situation where you need to have conviction, and luckily I did. Like there were moments in time when I doubted myself and I said maybe this wouldn't work out. Like maybe projects shouldn't spend their time on buying a smart chain, but it was a situation where kind of like I was there early, but I just didn't know I was that early, right? I guess if you guys want to think of it that way. But anyways, Binance Smart Chain now fully is taking off. I mean, pretty much every project is moving there now. It's going to be a very competitive space. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. So anyways, there we go. All right. We got Smart Skill Wrestling. This is from L Knight. Alhim says Smart Skill Wrestling. We need Pokemon cards, NFTs for the game. A lot of people think this, but trading cards actually don't need NFTs. This is a hard part. Trading cards, I actually think that trading, being able to have a worldwide market for trading cards is actually not good. There's a lot of gameplay that's related to being able to person trade a physical trading card. There's a lot of fun in that. There's also a lot of fun even going to your shop and finding people and socializing with people and trading that card. Having a very global marketplace that you can instantaneously trade a card may or may not work for it. Like you got to think about the gameplay of it. Like I collected Magic cards growing up, and I felt like a lot of the fun was with meeting someone in person and trading the card. So I think a lot of people need to remember this. Once you make it digital and once you make it on a blockchain, that fun diminishes by a lot, especially if there's a very convenient marketplace. So you got to find a way to balance this out. Like how do you give more fun in the trading process, which is something that I've been thinking a lot about as well. So anyways, long rants there. So last things, I think that's pretty much covers it for the news. Okay, so last thing with the Coinbase and how A16Z has a huge stake in that. Man, these revenues are still crazy though. They definitely reveal some sensitive information like the revenue and deal structure, ownership structure, and it's one of those situations where A16Z definitely got very rich from this, and I think Wall Street will take note. So that's why I don't think crypto is going to die this year, to be honest. The people who are in crypto, they can happily say have fun staying poor to everyone else. And I think that's still the case right now, where the whole industry probably exploded beyond people's imagination, right? I mean, I think if you talk to Peter Schiff back in 2012, he thought this is just a joke. All these exchanges have no value. Why invest in a crypto exchange, of all things? But some people definitely had the insight to do so. For example, A16Z, and they made a lot of money. On that note as well, I think something that was also quite interesting that interested people about the news is that Coinbase actually holds a lot of Bitcoin. So they hold millions of dollars. Let me just get the correct number for you guys. Let me just double check. I think I closed the article. Verified users, bullish on DeFi. Coinbase Bitcoin holdings. Yeah, so they have 300 million in their own personal on the balance sheet. So it's pretty good. So yeah, so they held $316 million worth of crypto assets on the balance sheet as dated December 31st. So that's definitely worth a lot more now because, since December 31st, we've gone up quite a bit. Let me see Bitcoin prices back on December 31st. So that was the date of the filing. That was the value at the time of the filing. But at December 31st, Bitcoin was only at $28,000. So yeah, that's you can roughly add like a 30-40% on top of that. So they're probably, if they haven't sold, they're probably at $600 million. And they've held all the way since 2012. Like they've been holding, they've had diamond hands for a while. So that's the case, right? Okay, so now let's talk about the whole altcoin frenzy, right? So I feel like this is something that I definitely need to address in episodes like this, which is recently all the altcoins have been exploding, especially in the ICO mania. ICO mania is back again, or the ICO space. A lot of coins are doing micro raises of around $2 to $3 million for the raise, and then they launch with only 20% locked, and then the coins just spike like crazy. So that's kind of the current meta right now for all new coins and new projects, and a lot of launch pads and launch pools coming out as well. So definitely want to highlight that. TrustSwap, I think a lot of people are definitely surprised at how well TrustSwap is doing, and I definitely think under Jeff it's doing super well. TrustSwap was one of those projects that it's booming aggressively right now, even in a market like this. And one of the reasons why is because look at how far TrustSwap has come, right? Before TrustSwap was mostly like, when they started out, TrustSwap was mostly about just transfers between people and with smart locking and smart swapping. But recently, Launchpad has fully taken off, and one of the biggest reasons why you want to have TrustSwap and stake TrustSwap is to get into pre-sales. So, for example, recently they have Solta, which did a 5x to my knowledge. MoDeFi, they got Yield Coin. Recently, they got Bitcoin Vend. A lot of quite a bit of good projects on that, and this kind of demonstrates a need for something like this during the ICO mania. So yet again, very strong development on that side, and I feel like this is one of the markets which can be good and can be bad, right? Like obviously we want to launch as many new projects as possible and encourage the amount of innovation, and how do you vet them, and how do you kind of get more people involved in the process and build that community. I feel like that's kind of the biggest value of Launchpad, is that it allows a community to understand a project rather than to just like ape into it when it lists on the market. Anyways, that's kind of the case of everything here. But anyways, I'm definitely pretty happy about how these launchpads have gone and where TrustSwap launchpad is going. And that's also the same with Polkastarter, right? So I think, yet again, there's a huge market for this. And Polkastarter also is having quite a lot of new projects going on. So for example, Public Mint, Unido, Antimatter, API Swap, Eternity, and ChainGuardians coming up as well. ChainGuardians is probably the one that I'm looking at the most. This is one that I've actually contacted their founders about, and this is one I'm also advising as well for ChainGuardian. So I'm actually pretty happy that they're on a launch pad. So far so good with this, but I do have to warn people and say that this is definitely very early stage with everything in the space. And yeah, just do your proper research. You guys understand the risks, please. Now, okay, so last thing I think I do want to talk about is this one. Oh, actually, wait, one more thing as well. Okay, so this one. Okay, so we have Sifchain. All right, so I've been playing with this recently, Sifchain. A lot of people are talking about cross-chain assets, and this one they've actually finished building. So far what you can do is using Sifchain DEX, you can get your Ethereum assets. So you connect both wallets, which is one is MetaMask. So you connect up your MetaMask, you connect up your Kepler wallet, and you can start pegging your coins over. So this is something that I've been looking at quite extensively yesterday. So I've actually started migrating some assets to be added to the swap. So this is kind of like the future of what's going to happen with crypto assets. So why and how this works is that this links Ethereum assets. Say, for example, if you have ETH or you have USDT or you have Enjin on Ethereum, you can peg it, transfer it over to the Cosmos chain. You know, Cosmos is yet one of those projects that are going to get a lot of attention soon because projects are already launching on Cosmos. And once you link it to the Cosmos chain, you can do the exchange there, and you can use Cosmos to link it to other chains as well. So this is the idea of that cross-chain interoperability coming in. But something also quite interesting about Sifchain is that they allow a way to reduce their impermanent loss as well. So it's kind of crazy. I'm in the process of testing it out. So I've started to do my first migration of the assets, and also I tried to use Kepler with my Ledger Nano. So that was a process that took probably the most amount of time just to figure out the transactions and making sure that I know what I'm doing. But I expect to see some updates on this soon because I definitely feel like this is something I want to cover because cross-chain swaps that are much cheaper, this is going to be some crazy stuff coming on. So Alex Tixons is pegging, you say? Pegging. Yeah. So I think that's kind of good. I mean, the amount of so something that I've been struggling with in crypto is just how fast the space moves. So it's to a point where right now, like a lot of people are asking me, do I have enough sleep? So last week, I think I didn't have enough sleep. I tried to stay up very late every night because the markets are very lively at night. And I end up not having enough sleep. This week is a little bit different. I've been taking more naps. It's like I'm like a 6-year-old kid now. Like I have to take naps. But anyways, I kind of like structure my day out so like I have a nap in the middle, and then I have like kind of two sections. And because the thing is, like, every day feels like a week in crypto, right? Which means you should technically have 7 naps in, right? Every time you wake up, and then, anyways. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm structuring everything right now, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of super crazy in this space. I wonder how you guys are feeling as well. I mean, why is everyone shouting BitConnect on main chat? I have no idea. BitConnect. What is BitConnect? What's BitConnect now? Hex? Lol, BitConnect. Yo, Box Money, check my super chat's unpopular dev opinion. All right. This is gonna be fun. Amateur gamer, Box Money, unpopular opinion. ADA is behind other blockchains, NFTs being used to wash crypto. Other news, DXL did a BSC integration. So, I mean, ADA is ADA. I think I've voiced enough opinions about ADA, both good and bad. I'm pretty sure Cardano Foundation hates me by now, but, that's life. But ADA is being showed very, very extensively on YouTube, and I definitely see the power of shilling on YouTube. But that being said, of course, ADA is ADA. If you've been around for a long time, you'll probably know what I mean by that. NFTs are being used to wash crypto. That's very likely. That's the sad part. That being said, I don't think it's only about washing crypto, right? I initially assumed that this trend will die out. But I think like with the number of people who want to, like I've talked to a lot of people recently, and I talked to people who really like collecting stuff. Like this is something that I'll be honest with, which is like, I'm a guy who's very practical, right? I'm not a very big collector. If I'm in a video game, I buy this item because it makes me powerful right now, right? And I very rarely say I want to collect all of them. But I do understand there are a lot of collectors out there, like baseball card collectors. Like for me, like I'm I'm not a Magic the Gathering card collector. Like I would almost say that I'm a Magic the Gathering card collector, but not really. Like for me, it was always about what it would bring me at that time. Like if this card was very powerful at that time, I would use it and I will own it. But I'm a practical guy, right? I don't really keep it if I don't need it for that deck anymore. I think that's how I used to trade. I'm not the richest person. I guess I didn't have the money to be able to collect and just save it for sentimental value. I kind of was limited in my budget, which means that if I went for a new deck, I would have to sell my old cards to get it. That's the part of trading. So I do understand that there are people who just like collecting for the sake of collecting, and which is what NFTs are targeting right now. So this is something that, with game design experience coming in, it's about understanding people's mentalities are different from yours, which is what I'm in the process of doing. Just understanding that mentality and how to better cater to these people has become a big kind of target of mine. Yeah. All right. I think that's pretty much uh about it. Looking at a lot of other chat that's going on right now. Lots of happening. So I'm trying to read the chat. We got Apollo 2021 says NFTs need utilities to boost APY for farming. I think there's also a lot of talk about not just that, but also about DeFi applications, insurance, and stuff like that. So I think that kind of makes sense. Why not, right? There's actually quite a lot of use cases, like practical use cases for NFTs as well in that case. So yeah, I think there's a lot of growth potential. There's a lot of hype, which is why there's a lot of kind of like pullback. Like initially, when things have a lot of hype, they also have sometimes they get overhyped, right? And people need to warn people about it, but I think it's not necessary, right? Anyways, Amateur Gamer says Lindsay Lohan rugged us on her 10k ETH NFT. Jesus, but I mean, Lindsay Lohan, right? What do you expect? I mean, she knows DeFi. She knows DeFi, right? She knows DeFi. Don't be racist. Don't be sexist. She knows DeFi. But anyways, also I wanted to give a shout out to DuckStarter as well. They have quite a few projects that are going to go up soon. So Shadows, Vortex DeFi, and AmpNet. Yet again, so many of these projects, and I'm spending a lot of time. And this is where I'm spending a lot of my time looking at projects to make sure at least I know what's happening in this space. So if you guys want to check out DuckStarter as well, make sure you check out DuckStarter and take a look. I mean, unfortunately, the in 3 days, whitelist closed. So just if you want to get on the whitelist, also get on the whitelist. So make sure you understand the whitelist procedure, because unfortunately, if you don't whitelist, sometimes you don't get it. So be very, very careful about that. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Christian says, do you think Enjin Minecraft project will influence demand much if players adopt it? I do think so. I think there's also a lot of things coming up on the Enjin front as well. They're super fast at developing. I know they have the Minecraft, they have the Unity engine development in. I think now the hardest part is figuring out the gameplay around it, which is probably a much more philosophical problem, but a very necessary problem too. So anyways, that's pretty much it. Pretty much it. That's pretty. I think that's it for today's episode. I'm actually getting really hot here today. It's like, Hong Kong weather is so weird. Like the morning is cold, and as like we're moving to like noon right now, and it's getting super super hot. So, anyways, I think this is pretty much time for me to end the stream. I hope you guys are doing well. Hoping you're surviving this crash, this mini crash, and taking it well. We're above 1500 for Ethereum, and hopefully we'll see what's happening the action side for Bitcoin. But honestly, I think this is good for the market overall, to have this little bit of pullback for people to calm down a little bit. Because before, when Bitcoin and ETH was moving up, people were not calm. There was no chill in this market. Everything was going crazy, and that's always not a good sign. I definitely want to have sustainable growth in this space. I realize it's not always possible. Crypto always moves in phases like that. But, we'll just have to make do with what we have. with that out, guys, thank you guys so much for checking out this stream, and make sure you guys subscribe to this channel. The next stream would be on Monday, AM Hong Kong time, but that'll be on like Sunday if you guys are in Americas. So anyways, we're part of a global channel, so the best thing to do obviously is to create the live stream and just guys take note of the time for your own time zone. I know you guys are from everywhere around the world. That's a great thing about technology right now. So it'll be Monday, March the 1st for me, and it'll be 11 a.m. Hong Kong time. Let me just create the live stream here. Bitcoin new live stream. Let's do a crypto live stream. Just very quickly create that. Got that done. Copy that and then paste it in this chat. So yeah, the stream is up. Let me post it here. So that's what it looks like. And let me post the link down. So for those of you watching it live right now, it'll be in a chat. We're coming up very soon. And for those of you who are watching this as a recording, it'll be down in the comments section down below. So anyways, I hope you guys survived. Thank you guys so much for your donations if you did. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for checking out. I'll find you guys later. I'd like to take the time now to tell you a little bit about everything that's happening in the box mining ecosystem. First and foremost, if you guys like listening to all that's happening in crypto on the go, then I would highly recommend you checking out the Box Mining Bitcoin Out of the Box podcast. And the reason why it's called Bitcoin Out of the Box is because we have long interview segments very much exploring the detail of the newest and latest of what's going on in this whole cryptocurrency space. Whole idea of it is to bridge that gap between privileged institutional investors and the rest of us here in this space. Now with the podcast, it's on everything. So it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Google Podcasts, it's on Spotify. Just search it anywhere, Bitcoin Out of the Box. So just add that onto a playlist and then just follow the new episodes when it's released. Next up, we also have the Box Mining newsletter. So this happens roughly bi-weekly. We give you an update of the latest that's going on in a very summarized, condensed format. So this is perfect for anyone that wants an overview of the market. Say, for example, what's happening with OKX, the biggest event, or maybe the little things like what's happening with different coins and overall the trend. So what I use the newsletter for personally myself is to understand what kind of phase we're in crypto, to kind of get in tune. So if you don't read crypto every day, the newsletter is perfect for you. Last but not least, in the link down below, if you're a Telegram user, we have the Box Mining announcements channel. So this is to announce you basically what's the latest videos coming up, but also we have a daily update, a community-driven daily update to provide you an idea of the latest updates on the day. And a lot of people have been using that to get informed of the crazy amounts of trends that we see. And I have to give a big thank you for Claudio, our community member, for doing this. It's just been phenomenal. Definitely want to give you a shout out there, Claudio, as well for that. And taking us to the end of the live stream, so make sure, number one, you click like and subscribe on this video because it really does help this channel. And then, of course, check out the podcast. It's one of the best ways to know a little bit more, to extend that knowledge, especially in your spare time. And then, of course, check out the newsletter. If you're, if you want those updates and summaries and trends, newsletter is the place for you. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you have a good one. See you in the next video.